Wonderland Time is closing down, and the sad part is that our voices never really mattered. Now, here's what I'm going to say before I dive into this video, is yesterday I decided to leave out a very strong opinion of mine that I didn't want to put in there in the video because I knew there'd be a lot of backlash. However, I did allude to what the opinion was, and if you listen from 5:04 until the 5:20 mark in yesterday's video, I basically said that the general sentiment of the protocol of Wonderland was just to go ahead and close down regardless how the vote went. Now, I understood that and I saw the narrative being played out. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you my aspect to this, kind of like what I've noticed, and just really listen to how I worded this. I feel really special wording it like this. The community did the right thing. The vote was in our favor. And if we go and just take a look at the snapshot, right, we can see that the vote is in our favor now and it's still active. 54%, 45%. The vote of no is essentially what we wanted as a community to just keep going and potentially give this treasury possession to somebody really smart. However, I said it best over here, the storyline was never meant to be in our favor. And this is the unpopular opinion that I didn't put in yesterday's video because I knew there'd be a lot of backlash. I'm just tired of getting so much backlash for being right about things, but people just don't want to hear it. So I left that part out and I alluded to that opinion. And some people on Twitter even said, you're stupid and whatnot. They were just being really rude because I literally foresaw what happened, like what's happening, about to happen. The narrative was never in our favor. So just to end this off, the decentralized aspect of Wonderland Time, where it was a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, from the start, it was never an organization. It was, as I said, many months back, it was a DAD, a decentralized autonomous dictatorship ran by Sesta, Sifu, etc. So this just became another centralization play. What did Wonderland become? And again, I have nothing against Daniele Sesta. I think the intentions were in the right place, but the house of cards just collapsed. However, if you think about it, this just became kind of like the government, where there's a massive treasury, right? And only a few people had the ability to make the actual decisions. And even when we think we have the opportunity to cast votes and be able to ask for something to be done, it doesn't matter what we say, the decision's still going to go against us. So, like I said here, this just became another centralization play where we thought we had a voice, and in reality, we never did. But here's the other thing, and I'm going to hammer this. I'm going to hammer this home one last time. I said I bet I could also put money on this that the whales, it was coordinated internally. Why? And again, this is something I left out as well because of how negative the backlash would have been if I said this. But now I can come out and talk to you about it logically. Think about it. Why would whales sink 6 to 7 figures of their own money into a sinking ship? With all the negative press around it, where Vice, Bloomberg, mainstream media, massive crypto influencers are all talking about this negatively, what whale in their right mind would put in 6 to 7 figures to potentially break even, depending on the backing price? It doesn't make sense. Who would want to control this narrative at that point? Internally, they would want to control the narrative. And everybody was mocking Sifu, and I got a lot of people tagging me on Twitter with Sifu voting no. However, and again, this dives into hardcore conspiracy. This isn't a logical thought process. This is just a conspiracy, and I want to make that very known. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However, it might have been a message. It might have been Sifu trying to tell us something. Because why would the guy come? What purpose does he have in Wonderland anymore? Why would he vote no in order for the people? If you want to be part of the Rebel community, the We Them Society, it's a private DeFi community of really intelligent individuals where you're getting alpha information, new projects that are launching. There's so much feedback that's going on inside of this community. I definitely suggest taking a look in the description and getting inside of We Them. It's really, really cheap right now. Just telling you, the floor price of We Them is very, very affordable to become a holder and grab your spot in the community. I'm telling you, once I start building this out and releasing the information this upcoming week, the floor price is going to is going to really jump. So right now is your opportunity to get into We Them Society while the floor is still at a phenomenally good price. So now we have Rand from Crypto Banter, also going ahead and piggybacking off of Route to Fi. So these two individuals are exceptionally prolific figures that I also look up to on what they say. Crypto Banter, does some shady stuff, but again, it's the crypto space. Sometimes you just have to be aware and kind of just deflect off the other stuff. However, Route to Fi said something very important, and I really want to instill this, and then I'm going to go into what I think is going to happen next, since I feel as if my points that I stated all the way up until this video, everything I've stated in the past has came to fruition. So I'm going to tell you what I think is about to happen next, and not be afraid to voice this opinion, because literally everything I've said, if you watch every single Wonderland video that I've released up until this point, everything, even before the bridge over to Phantom, I said 2 days before Sesta announced it that they're going to be bridging over to Phantom. I called everything, and I just, kind of like patting myself on the back here, but I called everything up until this point because everything is so blatantly, glaringly obvious. It's just a majority of the community and investors are thinking emotionally and not logically. So here's what he said. Can someone enlighten me about what happened to Wonderland in the past few days? The vote is 54-46 in our favor for continuing the actual protocol, the project, but somehow the decision is to shut down Wonderland to pay out whales who rigged the voting. Correct me if I'm wrong, but seems unfair. And then Rand went on to say, what's the point of having a DAO? Exactly. If when the DAO votes, the vote is not respected, may as well have a centralized entity. They should keep it going. This echoes exactly what I said inside of Discord. We were under the assumption we had authority. Let's face it, okay? And this is also a flaw and something that I overlooked. If it's a true DAO, then there would have been voting from the start, right? Think about it. Why? It doesn't matter if there's voting now because the voting still doesn't matter. So the decision from the very beginning was always in the hands of Sesta. It was always in the hands of the protocol owners. And they just rolled out the voting to build a better narrative. And I guarantee it, okay? And this is going to be a very hefty assumption and a very big point of fingers. Like I said before, why would whales come in and purchase 6 to 7 figures worth of a protocol that they might potentially break even on? Who has vested interest in this closing down and moving forward? Just think about it, right? Who exactly? Would it be whales? I don't think so. I really don't. I do believe it was an internal job, almost like a hit piece, in order to go ahead and spread funds through various different wallets to manipulate the votes. Just want to let you guys know that all these other new proposals that are inside of Snapshot doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. What's going to happen next? The backlash that's being received from the community, it'll probably go ahead and pass, and somehow, some way, there will be a message saying, oh, we're going to keep Wonderland open, but we have 5 days to decide what is going to happen, right? And in those 5 days, there's either going to be a transfer of power and ownership of Wonderland, and I do believe it might go to Skyhopper. However, on the other side, I don't think Sesta wants to tarnish his reputation as much as it'll be tarnished if he decides to just pull the plug. So I believe there's going to be this grace period of let's think of something else. But at the end of the day, one of two things, it's going to be manipulated to be closed down regardless. Or what I think is going to happen is the transferring of ownership of Wonderland to somebody like Skyhopper, who the community is in favor of going ahead and allowing to have control over the treasury. I don't believe Sesta wants to be doing this anymore. Why? Listen, it's very tolling. It is getting 50 plus death threats, as he mentioned. It's very tolling on somebody's mental health. I personally don't have the reach that he does, and I get a lot of negativity sometimes. For those of you that were in the We Them launch where things just kind of went hectic, it is so freaking tolling on your mental state. You rather just hide and crawl in a hole than deal with everything. And again, that's human nature. I can't blame him. So what I'm saying is, for him, it's much easier to just wash your hands and say, I'm done. Because let's face it, he already made his money. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if he has anywhere from like 30 to 50 million just sitting in different accounts on the low end. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I really wouldn't. We see Sifu's wallet go from like, what was it, like 20 million to like 300 million or something like that. Again, it's probably exaggerated. It's probably in the 100 millions. But you really think Sesta, who's above Sifu, didn't have more authority to make more money? I don't know. So this is a quick update. Like I said, I don't want to keep on beating a dead horse and talking about Wonderland anymore, but I do feel like I have a moral obligation since a lot of you look to me for updates on Wonderland. But I just want to make it very known, okay? And I'm going to end this right here. And a lot of you are not going to like this statement. You don't matter. I don't matter. We didn't have a voice from the beginning. We were made to think we had a voice. But if we look at the facts, if we really had a voice from the beginning, then there would have been voting from the beginning. The community would have been able to make their decisions from the beginning. And even now, when we have the ability to make a decision that's in our favor, we're getting overturned. We never had a voice. Now it's time to just wipe our hands with our losses because we can't dwell on the past. If you want to stay in the past and say, oh man, I wish Wonderland worked out. No. What I believe is that the DeFi ecosystem is going to go back to DeFi 1.0 like we saw in DeFi Summer. These APYs of $1 billion, $1 million, 6 figures, 80,000, it's not sustainable long term. We saw that. We tried it, right? Can there be some protocols that make it happen? Yes. Do I believe something like Immortal Monks and the Monastery, HeckDAO, some other protocols that are about to appear, can they revamp the system? Yes, I do. And I think that we will see some massive success with current protocols that are out there, maybe HeckDAO, maybe Monastery when it releases. But I'm going to tell you right now that it's very hard to sustain something like this. And that's why I've made it very clear in the past that stuff like, I'm not going to name any projects, but stuff that have fixed APYs are very hard to sustain long term, because even with an APY that's fluctuating, the biggest protocol that was that was a DAO with at one point almost 2 billion in a treasury couldn't sustain itself. Like, the signs all pointed to unsustainability, but now there's other protocols that might go ahead and fix the problems that arose. And I do foresee that all the investors like myself that were burned tremendously through all these protocols with insanely high APYs, all I'm looking for now is realistic, sustainable APYs. I'm not looking for the 50,000s and 80,000s, 100,000s. I'm looking for the maybe 20% on Anchor, right? Maybe the 10% or 11% on stables with Yearn. I'm looking for something stable and reliable while the current state of DeFi is kind of, reworking itself, and everybody's going to go back to DeFi 1.0. We're talking yield farm aggregators, being LPs, etc. However, those are my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Slap a like on this video if you agree. Let me know on Twitter your thoughts. And by the way, for those of you who don't ever think that I'm checking Twitter, I see every mention there is to me. Sometimes I don't like it. I don't acknowledge anything, because the problem is that if I acknowledge one, everybody thinks I need to acknowledge everybody else. But I'm telling you right now, there is not one single mention that goes on Twitter that I don't see. So if you want to mention me, go for it. You want to DM me, I'll DM some people back as well, because DMs are heavy. But if you like this video, you want more, slap a like. Let me know your opinions down in the comments below. And I'm sorry for everybody who got burned. We're in the same boat. But at this point, head up and we push forward. That's the only thing we can do. We learn lessons, and that's it. So again, with that being said, Hidden Gem Network, sorry that this video is the way it is, but I'll catch you guys soon.